Boom, there we go. We're all over y'all's For You pages, I'm sure, if you're on RapTalk. But yeah, today we're just going to kind of pick some topics and talk about them within the hip hop space, stuff that I think Tyson and I are both interested in, as well as stuff that is just happening around us in the scene that we kind of want to talk more long form about because, even though we're both doing videos over 60 seconds now, you just can't fit that much into just one little TikTok. But, you know, yesterday we got the full Yay podcast. I personally did not watch it, but Tyson, you actually wanted to talk about this, so I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
It was one of the worst things I ever seen in my life. Honestly, we got to restrict who gets podcast equipment. Well, it started off rough before the the interview even dropped. Is because it went from like being a free interview on YouTube, which Justin LeBoy has been teasing for like months now. I think this is honestly a new one because of all the stuff that's happened. He was teasing another one before to basically launch his podcast. But to get access for this, you had to buy something off the Yeezy to get the access code to be able to even watch it if you didn't want to like watch somebody else's live stream.
I did not know
Which,
that. That's news to
yeah,
me. Oh my
and
god.
I don't even think it was like overall. I think it was like it started off as that day you had to buy something on Easy. Then they changed it to overall because nobody was buying and nobody has gotten their stuff pretty much in general. Which I don't know if you buy anything on Easy Supply or seen the things. Kanye sent this photo the other day of them in the warehouse just shipping out orders, I guess. But that's how it started. And then once they officially got into things, it was just I understand how Kanye is the way he is. If he has people like Justin LeBoy around him, just every single question. First off, the questions were terrible. They were just like the man who is famous off of doing IG captions should not be running a podcast because that's all he talks in. And every single answer was just like, "Wow, yo, that's crazy." Well, like no follow up questions or anything like that. So he was just doing tricks on it for the whole time.
Yeah, I did see some clips where it just kind of seemed like padding the whole time of, he'd say something, yeah, would say something, and then Justin LeBoy would be like, wow, man, that's great. And it's like, that's not a podcast. That's not an interview. That's like an interjection from him occasionally. And then, yeah, he just like keeps talking about, but especially like the one part where he's like, you've been working out. You're in shape, man. Like, really, like, I understand. I think we all understand that this is not an interview. It's Ye just kind of talking, but like, way to make it obvious, I think, when like I just saw that clip and I was like, I don't even think I need to bother looking for this.
And even when he tried to talk about the music, it was just like he was giving them even the most softball questions ever, or like something that like was like completely unrelated, or like something like that. Like he was like, "Yo, so yeah, who you think are the industry plans right now?" And Kanye's like, "I don't know. I've never been invited to those conversations." And also, it's interesting. I will say, thinking about the interview and just thinking about the whole situation with like that in general, he talking about how he has Kendrick Lamar, like he got his back. He did not give Kendrick like like Kendrick's not even mentioned in the interview. He just basically says, "Well, we're all excited about the elimination of Drake," and that's pretty much all he. It's all about him, pretty much for the most part.
I got very like earnings report vibes from the whole thing. He's like
Yeah,
like he's addressing this like the stock in himself at that moment of like this is why you should be paying attention to me right now because we're plotting on Drake's downfall. It's like, okay, you should ideally let the record do the talking. It's at the point where it feels like you're releasing the diss or hopping on it just for the sake of doing it. Like it's almost
yeah,
like virtue signaling a diss for then people to use that as a platform to then go on a podcast and then, reveal your true thoughts. It's like it just feels kind of antithetical to the diss, the idea of a diss, and that it's
yeah,
kind of supposed to come out of this. Look at Pusha. Like obviously, Pusha T is the easiest example, but it's the easiest example because it's the latest example of a truly near perfect diss, where it's you're picking on their insecurities, you're diving deep, you're talking to their people, There's, people are pillow talking. And then, of course, making up something extravagant about them or piling on to some conspiracy theory. But no, we're talking about size 7 shoes. And it's like, what's going on?
Well, he didn't even have a diss for Drake. He literally says, I can't think of a Drake line. The only thing he talks about is how he signed to UMG or whatever. And that's really what his beef seems more with Lucien than anything. And then Justin LeBoy's like, yo, who's Lucien? I don't even know. Is he like some like hitman or like something like that? And
I didn't know that he publicly was like, who's the CEO of UMG?
Yeah.
Like, that kind of like ruins your credibility, like, in that whole conversation.
And the other thing I think you get a kick out of, and I'll watch your reaction on, is that during the interview they were talking about Coachella. He's like, yo, so like music festivals are like down in the dumps, and like whatever else he was saying, just like they're down. It's like, what should they do to like, oh no, he was like, well, when I go to a live performance with you like actually performing and like all of this stuff. And it's like you like feel something. So I thought that was ironic because that dude hasn't picked up a microphone yet for any of his Vultures performance. And he was like, what should Coachella do to be better? And then Kanye was like, they should let me run it. And I was like, oh my goodness.
He was in talks. I'm pretty sure it was last year. It wasn't just Coachella. It was other bigger festivals too that like were at a point in talks for him to headline.
He was supposed to headline Coachella like 2 years or 3 years ago.
I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and then like make yourself unmarketable to the mass public.
Yeah, they were speaking that Billy language. That's what it was, because Travis and all that stuff. They wouldn't let him have Travis or something like that, and then Billie Eilish. They were speaking that Billy language.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's coming back to me now, but yeah, like his comments on festivals and stuff right now, it just seems like kind of ironic given what his performances generally are. But that's kind of where I'm gonna stop with that one. But yeah, like I think that's I think with the grander scheme of things, like I don't want to dissect too much of what Ye says on these like podcasts because I just genuinely don't think it's like worth paying attention to. Like I'd rather listen to the music.
And it's the same thing now. Like he's just regurgitating like the same like 5 points over. Like he has nothing new to add. The only new thing I will say is that he said Vultures 2 on May 3rd. But he didn't look too enthused when he said that. But he said it himself that the album is dropping in 2 weeks. I don't know if you think that's actually happening or what's the plan. If you're even excited for it.
I mean, I guess I'm excited for it. I personally was not too pleased with Vultures 1. It felt kind of scrappy. It felt stuck together with like duct tape. It just felt like a collection of barely finished. Like some songs sounded like unmixed, which like that's happened with him before. But I don't get the sense that he's going to come back and fix it like he did like A Life of Pablo, where I remember listening to that album when it first came out, and it was pretty messy. Like, it made it unenjoyable. And then, months down the line, he remix, whatever. And it sounds like, listen to it now, it's one of his best albums. I don't see that happening with the Vulture series. It just doesn't feel like there's as much intent with it. So I'm not too excited, but also, like, I saw the clip of him saying it's coming out May 3rd, and, like, eye contact is everything, and he's, like, if I'm not mistaken, like staring at the floor when he says it. So like, I don't think it's coming out.
It seems like he's kind of forced to say that. Like I've never seen someone so unenthused. But the other thing I didn't want to talk about with him and get your opinion on is I don't know if you listened to the Childish Gambino the snippet.
I did, yeah.
Of it. Do you think that's AI or no? And how do you feel about now that because of the whole like everything that's happened the past 2 weeks with the Drake stuff and all that, now we can't believe that anything is real. And it's funny because people don't think it's real because they said he hasn't sounded that good in 5 years. So they think it's too good to be true.
I mean, I understand that sentiment. I don't think it's a reason to assume that it's AI. I think if it was AI, I think Donald Glover understands, from an artistic standpoint that even if you're trying to make a point, that's pushing beyond the boundaries of being like acceptable. And I think he understands also that when you use AI, it just like puts a layer of like disrespect over like the whole thing. Like I just can't take it seriously, but I don't think it's AI. Something I do think, like speaking of the Gambino stuff, because I did like that track. I remember Yeet posted a carousel on his Instagram, and one of the photos was him in the studio with Gambino.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the track that we hear next, personally. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were going to get that on the album since, he works with one of the biggest artists in the world, Drake. So I thought that was going to be on there. I don't know. Does he have any like production or writing credits on that album?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I
So
was expecting it as well, but
yeah. But the direction he seems to be going, and Gambino's finally rapping again and doing the full on hip hop stuff, I could definitely see something like that. And he's just such a, not to sound corny, like a creative person and just creative mindset that I could see him working with pretty much anybody, at least right now, especially if this is going to be the last album that we get from him. Same with Yeet. I feel like Yeet could slide with anybody now. I mean, he's bigger than ever before. People finally respect him. His songs, like Breathe and all of them, are getting 1 million plays a day, like still. So I could see Yeet working with anybody. People, you the Yeet journalist, so you know more than anyone. You need Yeet summer one fans, so that's something I'd definitely be excited for. I think people sleep on Yeet, to be honest. I think the hate is a little unwarranted, even like still.
I think the hate's very unwarranted, and especially like my kind of basis or test for like a lot of like have these people develop themselves in the mainstream space is listen to their songs, listen to their production, and if you don't feel like I'm gonna wait for that to pass by, listen to their songs and listen to their production, and if you listen to it and think I don't think anyone else could hop on this song, or I don't think I could hear anybody else on this, I think that artist has kind of found their voice or found their sound, and Yeet is like the perfect example of that, because I mean, even listen to Ian, like the new rapper Ian Grand Slam, in those songs, the Yeet isms all over that is crazy. Like, so I'm big on Yeet, and I understand. I think 2093 wasn't everybody's cup of tea per se, but that was to me like a damn near an experimental hip hop album,
and it was good too. Especially, I've been a big fan of his last two. I mean, what were the two before that? I was like, they're all right. Like I picked and choose, but like I feel like he definitely, even Afterlife. Honestly, at first I wasn't the biggest fan of it just because it's so long. But once I hear some of those songs, like Heavyweight Slam, some of those not singer songwriter, more singing, except the ones with like Lil Geeky, like those are like good. Like he definitely has his own sound, and I just hate the idea of people like, yo, he's a TikTok artist, but like Yeet has never posted a TikTok until now. Even though that was really Zach Bia by like himself, like he's done everything organically, like on his own, and he's just grown so much. I remember when I went to the Yeet concert last year, like Yeet wasn't the best live performer. Like he was going back and forth though, he was yelling and screaming. Everybody was just going crazy for him, and I was really happy when I saw him sell 50K or whatever it was first week and get that number one or whatever it was, or get close to that number one. Because that just shows you that he's here to stay. He's like, he's honestly leading that new wave. It proves like artists like him, Ken Carson, Destroy, Lone, and all of them can really just like make an impact, and that there's still life in the underground, and you can make it out that way.
And I think he's also like when I listen to Yeet, like, and I'm not like exaggerating really when I say this, but it reminds me of artists like, and this is a weird comparison, but Tom York from Radiohead, the lead singer, wherein sometimes you cannot understand what they're saying, but you understand how they're saying it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and funny enough, Kanye was actually the one. I don't know the exact quote, but that's how he spoke about it. Was I'm not always sure what they're saying, but I can feel what they're saying.
And also, when he's saying shit, he be spitting some real shit sometime too. With some talking about like being paranoid and like he getting all this money and all this fame and how people are treating him differently. And then also at the same time, he's talking about how he an alien. But that's like what makes it like so enjoyable is that you can get a mix of both, and that he takes himself seriously, but not seriously enough. Well, I don't know how seriously he takes the alien thing, but it's nice to see just like artists develop themselves and be more than just one dimensional, really. Like he's a multi-dimensional artist who really has the entire package, I feel like.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like he keeps. I'm not even going to use the word like image or persona
Aura?
for artists. Yeah,
His aura.
Just fucking just say aura. Like no, and like he really does in the way that it feels like everything that comes out from Yeet, whether it be anything from a song to an Instagram post, is
Yeah.
like carefully curated and manicured to his liking for how he wants to be perceived as an artist. And again, that's another kind of like check the box for an artist that's found themselves and will stay successful. Like you can identify what you like about Yeet. It's you can put it into words, and I feel like that's something that for other artists, not being able to put it into words is a good thing. I think Playboi Carti's an example of that, where he does so much that it's like, I love it, but I almost can't describe why I love it. And there's great aspects to that, but for Yeet to be so articulate about it is really, really cool to see.
And also, I'm curious because he says he has 2 more albums dropping this year, which is also flipped from like people like Carti, where he's like, "I'm dropping music, I don't care." Like he's been dropping an album every year, and he dropped the single the other day. So it's like we're coming back to now. It's like more music. Like we're actually not trying to be as mysterious, and people are starting to realize like people will, if you do it at a decent clip, people will listen to your music if you drop. Like you don't got to be too mysterious. Even like him doing the Zach Bia thing was showing like he don't got to be mysterious all the time. Like he's an actual like person. People were making fun of him for it, but it's like I'm sure he wanted to do that, and it's like a sigh of relief. He could like be Noah Oliver Smith just for a little bit.
Kind of take off that mask a little bit, and I think that's good. Like progressively through your career, it's like, reveal as much of yourself as you want. And I think something that's big with fans that I think fans need to understand is like they don't owe you anything. These artists owe you literally nothing. And
they're not your friend.
Oh yeah, they're not your friend. Yeah, even though like I think it was like when Carti was in Europe for the Vultures thing, the fan literally talking like into his cap. He's like, "Please drop music.
Yeah.
I love you." And Carti's just like. It's like that is like the perfect example of like the parasocial relation between artists and fans. But thankfully Carti seemed pretty cool and relaxed, where he was just like whatever, because that was crazy.
But I was gonna say, speaking of Carti, I wanted to talk about his father real quick, otherwise known as ASAP Rocky. I just saw that he's the one who started the mysterious thing. He's the one who brought him in here under a hog.
You're going to get me in trouble, man.
What'd you say?
So you're going to get me in trouble.
I apologize.
No, I'm playing. But yeah, continue. His father did do something today.
He finally gave us a little teeny tiny bit of music for his album Don't Be Dumb, and dropped a whole bunch of merch. First, I think it's wild dropping merch for an album that we don't even know is coming out still. But that we're finally moving in that direction. I'm curious what you think. If you're still interested in that album, if you believe it's finally coming out. 'Cause we're almost on 2 years of him saying, "This is my last performance at Rolling Loud, and I'm dropping the album soon." And we still haven't. And that was in 2022. We're now in 2024.
I would say that if it was just the merch, I would be like, whatever warehouse they have closed down or something.
Yeah.
But that's not the case, because there was an instrumental as well, supposedly dropped on the website. And this is all stuff I saw on Twitter with NFR, and that to me, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere where it feels like he kind of showed this instrumental as a tease to the kind of music that we're going to get. I very much am a firm believer that he previewed these songs at various festivals, didn't get the warmest reaction to it, didn't get the reaction he wanted, and went back to the drawing board. And I really, really respect that. And I don't expect him to be transparent about it. Like, you know how hard it is to tell your fans that music you dropped wasn't to your liking? Like, that's a really rare, and I don't think artists should do it, because similar to what J. Cole did with removing the verse and apologizing for it, it's like you're essentially calling your fans stupid for liking your music. You are, it's just not fair. But I listened to it, and I don't know if it's just me convincing myself it's this, but I was hearing like Live Love ASAP inspiration, Clams Casino inspiration, and the early Rocky albums are my favorite. That's what I cling on to as a Rocky fan. So I'm excited. I really want to hear what he has to show us now, because it feels like it's going to be different from the singles that we've received in the last year from him.
Yeah, and I think my overall issue, at least with his output over the last, it's been about 6 years almost now, I think this month or next month till testing, is that like a lot of his music has been attached to like some type of advertisement or like some type of game, like something for like Cyberpunk, Need for Speed. He did the stuff with Beats and Riot. Is like, I feel like we're not getting his full artistic potential because he's doing stuff for like an advertisement that has to be somewhat clean or somewhat. There's a lot of hands involved with that. And I do agree with you, because I remember when even DMB came out and that didn't get the craziest reception, and then he kind of disappeared after that. Even Riot didn't even get the most like warmest reception. So I definitely agree with that. And I would say, are you still excited for A$AP Rocky album in 2024 as much as you were before? Or do you think people in general, do you think people are still excited to hear new music from Rocky, or they're just like over it at this point?
I think people are excited about the idea of Rocky dropping. I don't think people are actually excited. And what I mean kind of by that is it's been so long that people just want to see what's up. People want to see, like, I think a lot of Rocky fans are people that are maybe even a little bit older than us. It will almost be a nostalgia listen. We're getting to that point for him where it's been so long since he's dropped. And when you tour and you play festivals and you are playing kind of just your hits, it becomes a reunion tour sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why I think, people are, their reference point for Rocky is a song like Problems, like Effin' Problems or something, or Purple Swag. And like, those are over a decade old now. Like, it was a long time ago. So that's kind of,
especially as with like us and our young unk life, you got to remember, like, even when Testin came out like 6 years ago, like music, that's a long time. Like, people don't know about like a A$AP Rocky album or like a A$AP Rocky album rollout. Like, what did Long Live A$AP came out like 2015, like, it's been a long time since anybody's really experienced A$AP Rocky, and it's just like, I'll always be excited for it. It's just been such a jam-packed year. I think he just wants a piece of it, and I think it's definitely time. I don't know about the rest of the mob. I was thinking the other day, because I saw Ferg tweet something out. I was like, the whole mob movement, I feel like, has like disappeared, at least, and is not as big as it was. I still listen to like A$AP Ant, A$AP 12V. I like them, and Ferg hasn't dropped anything in a while, but it definitely seems like it's A$AP's time, and I'm curious. Maybe we finally get a Rihanna feature too, because Rihanna was talking about the other day they have music with Rocky, and also what Rocky's been dropping recently. I don't know if you heard the track with Doja Cat, and then also his feature on We Still Don't Trust You. He definitely sounds like he's getting back to form. I like it when he raps. I don't really like all the melodic stuff all the time. That's just me personally. But when he was spitting, he's spitting when he's serious about it, and the handcuffs are kind of off, in my opinion.
I think a big part of it too is just like, dude, he's married to Rihanna now. Like, I think a lot of people need to understand how like she is leagues ahead of him in terms of being the breadwinner of
Yeah.
the family, and not on some like interpersonal like drama with them, but like his reason for making the album. I want there to be a reason, and I want to like.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm getting to know Rocky or something. Like he has to have something to say or something of substance here for me to be a successful album.
Especially now, he's. I mean, times have changed. He's a dad now. All this stuff. I mean, and he's grown a lot, definitely in his other avenues. So like, just hearing that perspective, but also hopefully getting some cool experimental, because he was so boundary pushing for the longest time. And I only say the longest time because he hasn't dropped in forever, but like even some of the stuff on testing, like I don't know if you're a huge testing fan. I mean, I'm like kind of like it's not like a bad album, but it's not like what I think it was supposed to be or what people wanted it to be, which I feel like is with every artist. But there were still some interesting sounds on there and also some bangers as well.
It's almost a really good album. There's like a few songs that are just like for me like really holding it back. Like I want to hear what a deluxe would sound like because I just know he left some bangers off of there.
Yeah.
I was not impressed with like the synchronization of the songs on there. Honestly, just it felt more vibe curated than anything, which I get. Like you want to create a mood that carries from front to back, but if the songs are suffering, like I don't think it's worth it. But
yeah,
Rocky needs to drop. I think that's what we're getting at here. And something else, kind of pivoting a little bit, but the Double XL freshmen, we're getting into that mode this year. Obviously, fake lists come out every year. The fake list this year was definitely better than most. The Tizo touchdown was the dead giveaway. I was like,
yeah.
If you think anybody with a Drake feature, several Drake features is stepping into the double, no, that's not happening. That's devaluing yourself.
I think Matt having Ian on there was like they always pick like someone who's like the most relevant at the moment, and then like you said, someone who's like does not need it whatsoever. But honestly, the fake list is kind of a moment itself now because you're like, ooh, who are they gonna put on there?
Yeah,
there's a few I didn't know. I had no clue who they. I don't know if you knew them all, but some of them I was like.
Here, let me pull up the fake list because I did know them all. It's funny. I saw like a Twitter account. I think it was Kira, who's like, I don't know who any of these people are. I'm like, okay.
But also, when you're looking up that list, I will say something about Double XL is like, how'd you feel about the list last year?
I have to look at the list from last year.
I feel like nobody talked about Double XL last year. Like I felt like that was like the first time ever.
No, I'm looking at the list from last year really quick. Let's see who we got on here. Last year we had this is 2007. Oh my god. Yeah, when you go way back too, it gets interesting.
Yeah.
2023. Whoa, okay. Finesse 2 times, Glorilla, Lola Brooke, Rob 49, Friday, Too Rare, Sleazy World Go, Central C, Boston Richie, Lil Tyler, Tia Kareen, and DC the Don. What a random batch of artists that some of them like. What's Glorilla doing there? What's Central C doing there?
Central C. It's definitely top heavy. But hearing it now, I definitely heard about some of those names some more. But it was just like it wasn't because of their Double XL like feature like what's his face on Topia Twins, like Rob 49. Like I know him more for that than him being a Double XL freshman or like Central C, Glorilla. It's actually kind of crazy that Glorilla's on there because she's like someone who didn't even at the time did not need that whatsoever. But go ahead.
It felt like it did nothing. But I got the real list here. Sorry.
See how many of these I know.
Completely watermarked by underground sound. That's how you know it's real. So we got. I know all these artists, thankfully, except for one. Osama Sun, Baby Keto, Laser Dim, V's, Cash Cobain, Dina Ayada, Tizo touchdown, 4 bats, and Ian.
Okay, I actually know most of them, except for maybe like one of them, like you said, or like two. Like Laser Dim, I'm not gonna say like I know, but like that's like probably the one, and I think one of the other ones you said, but most of them.
If I'm picking, like, I'm curious, like, well, I'm gonna ask you, or I guess I'll give mine first, and I'll let you think about it. But if you could pick like 3 people that you think deserve to be a freshman this year, um, on my end, I'm just kind of like I'm just kind of pulling these out of nowhere, but I really do think Cash Cobain deserves it. He's somebody that has come up as a producer, and he's also been an artist the entire time, and it finally feels like it's catching up to a point where
Yeah,
he's getting mutual respect for both, and like just for that accomplishment, and along with Chow Lee carrying the sexy drill scene right now, it's like I really think he's kind of a good representative. Him or
yeah,
Chow or both. I would really love to see both of them up there because they have done a lot of work together. And then also, kind of same sort of thing. I want to see Osama-san or Netspend. I think it'd be really cool if Netspend was up there. I'm personally a fan, and you know I'm excited that he is getting a lot of positive attention right now. There's going to be memeing. That's just the underground right now. It's just what it is, you know.
yeah.
And then on that same coin, I think also Xavier So Based is really, really special, really awesome. And then honestly, like I want to say V's, but I don't think he should do it. I think he is. I think he's already. I think Ganger proved a lot for him. I don't. Would I love to see an extra freestyle from him? Absolutely. I just don't think it's worth it. I think there is a potential to devalue your brand, like when you do that.
How
So
old is Unk? How old is Unk? I feel like V's is old. Is V's old?
Well, I'm 25 if you're asking this Unk right here, but
No, I'm talking about V's. Is V's old? I don't know. He look.
he's 29.
Maybe it's just him being from where he's from. That it's just like Detroit. That it's like it's not a number on.
He's 29. He's been at it for a while though. It's not like he's like a. So that's the other part too. I'm like, don't like freshman. He's been getting recognition. He was on Michigan Boy Boat. You know, like.
Well, you know what the thing I didn't realize, speaking of that, as a quick side note, I didn't realize Ty Dolla $ign was like 33, 34 when he was a double XL freshman. Like, I didn't realize how old he was. But if I'm picking somebody, definitely Cash Cobain, I feel like is a good, like, intermediate, like, between the work he's doing as an artist and also producer. I feel like Osama-san, or what was that one interview, Osama Mason, whoever called him that, or something like that.
People are like, is it Osa Mason? I'm like, I'm going to let you figure that one out.
Yeah. I didn't to fill a third lane, I mean, I know the industry plant accusations go crazy, but I mean, what Four Bats has been able to do in this like short amount of time, at least in like that, if they're gonna have someone R&B like singy type of person, like I know he has to deal with Drake and all that, and he's probably bigger than the whole thing, but I feel like he's someone else who's like, he's just like everything he drops is a hit, no matter what way how he gets it. Like he's been putting up numbers, and I'm trying to think who else. I definitely think V's is like the odd man out, but I always feel like they gotta have like that Detroit like Babytron type of person on there. So like I can definitely, it's deserved, but I don't know. Unk might be too old for like that one, but I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, I mean
I think that's definitely good. You nailed it. Like
yeah, I think I feel like Netspend is not like 200, maybe like 200, not like 2 underground, but like I don't see where he could fit in like a double XL like type of.
That's why I want him, because he totally wouldn't fit in, and I think that's kind of the point too. Is like I like when there are different representatives of subgenres of hip hop. Let's not act like hip hop is just this one singular genre. Like the umbrella of genres, of subgenres that nestle within hip hop is insane, especially now. I mean, Camila Cabello damn near just released a rap song with Cardi.
Yeah.
Gucci Mane Lemonade. I'm not even gonna call it a sample. It's the chorus of the song. He interpolates Lemonade by Gucci Mane, and you know I think that in and of itself is an emphasis of if Double XL wants to keep succeeding, bring in people that are gonna turn some heads. Bring in a Xavier So Based. Bring in somebody that represents maybe more of like the hyper pop kind of side. you know, stretch your boundaries is what I think I'd like recommend for them to do. Because
Also, the other person I wonder, yeah, who does it? Do you think Sexy Red will do it or no? I know that was another one that's floating. You think she's too big?
No,
I mean,
I don't think it's worth it for her. I don't think she
yeah,
needs to. I mean, you know, as someone who's been like lucky enough to like shoot a lot of her shows and stuff, like I see she does not need it, dude.
yeah,
People love her. And it's like I think when you do a double XL or something, there is always a potential for it to not go well. And for her, I just think like she already just doesn't need it.
yeah.
But if she wants to go in there and like kick ass, do it. You know, it's like only do it if you want to do it when you're at that stature, because or else you'll just get people talking negatively of like, oh, they don't even want to be there, and you know, it's not worth it.
Do you feel like the double XL list is like as valuable as it once was, or no?
Absolutely not. I mean, just you know, double XL was one of the main publications talking about hip hop.
Yeah,
That is not that there's a that void now has been filled by social media. People would rather be posted on Complex and like all these other like for some viral story than being like written up in a really prestigious magazine. I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like, you know, let's say like you're an A&R or somebody, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for how can I reach the public better, not where's my most like reputable cosign coming from. And I think that's what Double XL used to be.
I think they suffer from their own success too. I mean, with how good the 2016 class was, with pretty much everyone being a hit, I feel like every year we just have the conversation like they're not hitting with 100% accuracy, then it's like the worst class ever. Even though there's been some great artists that still have come out, but I feel like that's the thing too, is like some of these artists, like you said, were like big before they got there. Like the list didn't enhance them. Like someone like a Glorilla, like last year Central C, even like Rap 49, it's like, yeah, they had the cosigns before that. You're not really finding a new like artist out of that. Like it just seems like more of like just for the artist validation than if it, like the discoverability element isn't the same. And maybe that's just because times are changing, like you said, where it's like the viral story, the viral moment is worth more than just being a good artist, and that with the discoverability elsewhere that it doesn't have value. But I definitely feel like they kind of suffer from their own success maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, I agree that like, you know, you set such a high bar for yourself, but then you can't adapt. Like adaptability is everything now, and I think that Double XL has kind of showed us that they just can't really adapt to the times. And kind of one other thing I wanted to touch on here was kind of the AI issue of Drake using AI for Tupac and Snoop Dogg, and you know, I'm gonna let you kind of take the floor first. I feel like I have a lot to say about it, but I'm curious to hear what you got.
With the whole AI thing, I mean, with the whole Drake diss track, I thought it was whack, but like I understand because like not understand like why like it's okay. It's like he's the whole like diss Drake thing and like pushing boundaries, but also at the same time, I'm like, yep, that's kind of gross. But also, Drake, he's out for blood. Like he got not like no morals right now, but he has no boundaries. So like, I get it. I mean, the whole AI thing, even like in the past week, has just made things like I talk about with Childish Gambino. Like people are like, oh, it's definitely like AI. Like you can't even enjoy a good song. Even when the original Push-Ups dropped, it was like, I don't know because I don't want to be like. Not like clown, but like there's so much just like on the line, but like with getting things right, especially in the spaces that we work in and do stuff in, it's like it makes things tough to enjoy and like analyze. And also the monetary incentive of like some people with these leaks, I think is tough too. Is like people are selling fake leaks with AI. It's like I think that's messed up entirely. People paying thousands of dollars for that. And also I don't like the whole like you spoofing another like artist. Like acting like another artist. I just think that's weird. That's why the whole Childish Gambino Kanye thing was like weird. It's like, why is he gonna like do that for an artist who's like alive as well? It's like super weird. But I definitely don't like the AI stuff, but my biggest fear is that it's only going to get better from like here. And I know like some of these artist teams like Juice WRLD, X, Pop Smoke are going to get a wind of this, and then we're going to get we're suddenly a whole new Juice WRLD album with like half finished tracks, but now they can finally complete them with like AI. And I just think like it's just like not like a scary time, but it's just like something that's definitely going to be an issue in the next couple of years until we get a solution. But I don't think that solution is going to come until like something drastic or it affects an artist like seriously. Like I thought we were going to get something with the whole like ghostwriter thing a couple months ago, and that kind of just got pushed away, or at least some type of
no,
movement.
Complex
But that's
gave him an editorial piece, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's fun in games until it's not. And like I know you said like until it affects an artist to a certain point. I think until it becomes a government thing. Truly.
Yeah.
I think when it becomes a national security concern, that's when the lawmakers are going to get to work. Because unless UMG and these labels can really lobby this issue, then there's not much there's just not much I think will happen. And you know, I feel like nobody hears me when I say like, oh, it's setting a bad precedent. It's like that's so oversaid, but it's so true. Where it's like essentially the biggest, one of if not the biggest artist in the world, saying, "Yeah, I fuck with this." You know, that's just a dangerous road to go down.
Yeah.
And whatever affect he was trying to, you know, push and make felt by audiences, in my eyes, completely washed over when you use AI to accomplish that. And I understand the point was to tussle feathers of using West Coast legends to kind of like poke at Kendrick. But he's going to poke back with something nasty. And now Drake just set himself up for criticism. And you know, we're talking about it right now. We didn't have to be talking about this.
I think that's the tough thing is like in the acute, like Drake is so focused on him and winning with Kendrick Lamar that like he dropped that. But like I feel like the long term effects, like this is a conversation now we're going to be having, like I said before, with like everything. So like as long as it doesn't affect him personally, or like you said, like someone gets in trouble for yelling fire in a crowded theater with like AI or something like that and gets someone in serious trouble or causes serious harm, we're just in like this like limbo. And I'm curious to see where it goes, even like for artists like even in the underground or stuff like that. Like I don't know if you've heard some of like the AI stuff like that First Day Out song or whatever it is, like AI Kanye. Like people are using this around the industry, and it's like something I don't mess with, but it's something that's gonna be used. I think we gotta remember that like morality and like making bread ain't in the same. They don't weigh the same for a lot of this stuff. So
no, and you know, I think especially like I think a road that we're getting to also, just a lot of the discourse I've seen has been, you know, AI, people like being able to tell if it's AI or not. I do think people like yourself and me that really do spend a lot of time in this space have more resources and kind of ammunition to understand like it might be real just because of the cadence, the flow, whatever. But I'm worried about getting in a space where people start shaming one another for, how do you not know this wasn't AI? Come on, man. Like, I'm telling you, it's coming. Like, I can see it happening already. And, you know, that just adds another dangerous layer of, you know, we should all just be like, no, this sucks. Instead of like, I can't believe you couldn't tell that was blah, blah, blah. Like, technology will surpass us. Just, it's a matter.
That's why it was so wild when they were like, yo, this sounds too good to be Kanye. It's like, does it really sound like
listen
too good?
To yourself. What does that
like,
mean?
Like that is so just like, scary to me that we can't even believe that an artist could be that good. And yeah, it's definitely something that I think is just gonna get worse, and we'll see how it turns out. I'll just have to be listening. We'll probably get, who knows, we might even get an XXX and Juice World album now that they know about the AI, and I'm surprised they honestly haven't used that yet. But it's definitely, how do you feel about stuff like that though? Like the pot, because I know like there was the thing with like John Lennon and like they did like their final track. Like, how do you feel about stuff like that with like AI?
I mean, I thought it was dumb. Like, I saw a lot of Beatles fans being super happy about it, but I didn't have that personal connection that other people had with it. So I just look at that and I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Like, that's kind of my thoughts on it, where I'm like, if the original artist did not make this, did not intend for this to be released, I don't really give a shit, personally.
Or should I ask too that, like, is there any way you could see AI being valuable, just like any type of way for the music industry?
No doubt. I think what it will do is lower the barriers of entry for producers and a lot of people that, even bringing in more people into the industry, like, I think just bringing more representation of people that otherwise couldn't afford this stuff. Like, AI is going to make stuff cheaper too. Like, it's going to make this equipment cheaper. It's going to make it more accessible, and it's just going to give it more capabilities. So, and this is me like definitely like nitpicking for, or like searching for positives, but so basically like for just general stuff, I think it's going to help, but I think we're already kind of seeing the drawbacks from it before we see any real benefits. But those are kind of my thoughts on, or our thoughts on AI. And I think we're gonna wrap it up here in a second. But I do kind of want to do one last. I think it'd be cool to do a little Spitfire round. I'm gonna call this the Opium Rankings. We're gonna take the three main members in Cardi, Lone, and Ken, and pick what at this very moment are our favorite songs from them. My favorite songs from them switch every day. Tyson, let's start with Ken, and I'm going to start with you.
Ken, honestly, what I've been listening to a lot is Jennifer's Body. I don't know. It might be the meme. It might be the just like that opening in general, and I just see that in my head. But like, I really like that song. I think that's like a fun song, and like I'm debating about getting Ken tickets because I'm like I kind of want to hear that in concert. I mean, like,
you should go. I saw him like 5 times last year, and it kind of got better every time.
I'm thinking about it, but that's definitely a song I'm rocking with from him. At least I know it's on top of my Spotify on repeat, at least right now.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll do one song for each, and we'll do like 2 for Cardi, because he's got a lot out right now. My Ken Carson song right now, I want to say Overseas, but also I just kind of want to be extra. I've had Green Room on repeat. I think that is such a great song. I think that's a great intro. I just kind of love everything about it. Very relaxed. Like, I love when the Ken Carson song, it's like the beat is heavy, but it's kind of a relaxing vibe. And I adore that song. I think it's awesome. I listen to it most mornings out of the week. I'd say I listen to it. But moving on to the golden child of Opium in Destroy Lonely, who right before Coachella just dropped a song with Quavo, which is probably his biggest feature so far. And what I really liked about that song, it's not the song I'm choosing, but it sounded like a Destroy Lonely song with Quavo on it, which I thought was awesome. I thought that was sick. But what's your favorite Lone song right now? What are you listening to?
I sound like such a hype beast, so I'm not the biggest. I'm not the Opium commander in chief like you. Like, I'm more of a casual Opium fan, but like, because I just got it on vinyl. I mean, if looks can kill, I mean, I enjoy all of his big songs, but I just got that on vinyl recently, which is awesome to have Lone on vinyl. I can enjoy my looks can kill vitamin water while I eat my Destroy Lonely meal and spin my Destroy Lonely vinyl, but definitely that. I feel like I need some more music out of him because, the title track is good for that album, but I feel like fans were kind of displeased about that whole album in general. So I feel like it's time to get some more. I feel like I'm more into Ken now than Lone, but he's dropped more recently.
For me, I'm a big Lone fan. I thought No Stylist Ultra and If Looks Could Kill were pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still listening to No Stylist Ultra though, and the song on there I like right now a lot is called Blitz. Really crazy instrumental. Like his beats often like pop, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like they're and outside of that, like they are truly pop. A lot of them are pop inspired or like synth pop inspired, and like his kind of adoration for bands like My Bloody Valentine and the Deftones you can hear that inspiration in it, not in explicit ways. That's what I'm big on. It's like it's not an explicit reference, but it's an overall mood and tone, and I love that from Lone. But moving on to the big dog, Cardi, right now. What Cardi songs you got playing?
Honestly, what I've been listening to at least this week.
And if you say Carnival, I'm leaving this call.
No, I'm not. I was actually going to say Teen X. So I was like,
oh, yes.
I was listening to that. And I'll be honest, like, I fucking hated that song at first. When it first came out, I was like, what is this bullshit? And then, like, I heard it in concert, and then, like, you jumping around, and you like, you know what? When that end of that song, when he's like, "Codeine up," and you jumping around, and then I heard a couple more times in concert, I'm like, and definitely listen to more like Ken and Lone, like the way the sound has played out. I'm like, this is pretty. You know what? I actually like the song. It's actually pretty enjoyable. Then I would say the other one would probably, I mean, I listen to a lot of the singles he's dropped, but like 2024, I just like to switch up and just, shout out my guy OJ Simpson when he said, "I feel the glove. I'm feeling like OJ." That just be hitting.
Hell yeah. Sorry, you kind of lagged out there at the end.
No, you're good. You need me to repeat what I said?
Yeah, what'd you say at the very end?
No, I was gonna say with 2024, song be hitting. Shout out my guy OJ. It's just like that line. Got the glove feeling like OJ. It goes crazy. You hitting that little dance. It's like that he doing in the parking lot. It's like it's just a whole like vibe. And I hate saying stuff's a vibe, but he did his thing, and that's why I want him to finally drop the new album so I can actually like enjoy more than just 2 minutes at a time every couple months. It's been 4 months since he dropped To the Moon or whatever it's called. Like we're almost approaching 6 month, half a year territory since this album was supposed to drop for like the 5th time.
I'm just used to him lying, so I'm just like, I don't believe, we have trust issues. But quick story about T-Nex, I had backstage pass for Lala 2021 when he, first played a whole lot of Red on the festival scene. And T-Nex, I was just like praying. I was like, please play T-Nex. Like, I need to hear it. And funny enough, Ken Carson was on stage. This is young Ken Carson. This is like 2021. And Cardi turns to Ken. He's like, what song you want? And Ken's like, and Cardi plays T-Nex. So, and this is the same Lala with the Miley fans too. So this is just like, I haven't actually been listening to T-Nex, but that's still like hot take favorite song on Whole Lotta Red. It's so different from the rest of the album. Like it's just so random that it's there. I love it. But outside of that, I am still listening to 2024. That is a damn near perfect Cardi song.
This is the best one he's had so far out of all of them?
Yes. For me, it's the strongest. I love it. I love everything about it. But yeah, I think that's going to kind of conclude it for this week. We're coming to an hour here.
Wait, what was your other one? You forgot your other one. You only gave us one.
Oh, I thought I said T-Nex in that one.
Oh, T-Nex was your first one. Got you. All right, bet.
Yeah, that was. But I have been listening to Type Shit too. That's been really.
Oh yeah, that shit on repeat too.
That shit's great.
Type Shit.
But Type Shit. That was a good Type Shit talk. Type Shit.